if you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in a personal session, check out my website, readingswithbreanne.com. Let's dive into the topic for today. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal wherever you are on this journey. I'm looking forward to doing another tarot reading and crystal ball reading for you guys. And I wanted to look into Princess Kate and do a little bit of an update with her energy. I haven't looked into her for a little while now. And I seen an article, like for the most part, it looks like she's still staying or remaining out of the public eye. There was some reports here. It says that the Princess of Wales was pulled out of attending the Royal Ascot last week. And the one article I was looking at here says she's still trying to balance her public outings with recovering from cancer. So I wanted to see what the tarot had to say because originally there was some miscommunications. I think it was put on the list that she was going to be attending with William, but then 20 minutes later it was then it said that it was revealed that Princess Kate would not attend the event. So let's dive into the tarot and see what's going on with her and her energy. And we'll see if this is just her trying to balance things out and kind of just recover and spend this time for herself, or is there something a little bit more hidden underneath the surface? So let's dive right in. All right, so let's dive in, but before I ask about Princess Kate not attending that Royal Ascot event, I wanted to look into her specific energy because in the past, again, you guys, it's a tarot reading, use your discernment, and I know it might sound a little crazy, but in the past, I have seen in the crystal ball different underground pods that indicated, let's say, clones of Princess Kate. So I don't believe that we are dealing with the original blueprint of Princess Kate at this time, but let's ask the tarot and see what the cards have to say. Is that still an energy I'm getting, Spirit? What can you share? Is this the original Kate that we are, seeing in today's date in 2025? What can you share about the original? Look at that Wheel of Fortune. What can you share about the original, the question of this being the original Kate? The World. The Devil. Wow. Okay. You guys, I know this sounds crazy, but this is not the original Kate. This is a clone. That's what the cards tell me. So when we dissect this, I think I want to ask another question after, and it's going to be about like, what is her current soul? Like, how is her soul, her original soul blueprint, how is she doing? Because this is just screaming a lot of manipulation and a lot of things that are not being, let's say truth. There's a lot of hidden truths that the general public does not know about. Okay, had trouble getting that out. So we have the World in Kate's energy. So the world's the representation of a karmic cycle. It's things closing out, and sometimes this is showing that her living soul here is not present, like her original soul. The Eight of Wands is a representation of, again, it could represent a rapid replacement. We've seen all the craziness that happened, back in, December. And this is really showing, something being scripted where a version of Kate was being kind of parted with this energy, if that makes sense. Okay, maybe I'll come back to that one in a moment, because when we look at the Devil, this is showing a lot of artificial energy, and it's a sign of manipulation, a sign of entrapment here, and it could be a lot of MK Ultra, black magic, ritualistic energy happening within her field here. So it could really show that there is some kind of synthetic overlays happening or parasitic influence when it comes to Princess Kate. So it's really unfortunate to see some of this this energy. Now, I gotta say, it screams to me a lot about synthetic overlays and a lot of cloning energy. That's what it screams to me, especially with this. This is even the possibility of there could even be 7 different pods, 7 different, let's say, 7 different clones. That seems like a lot, to be honest, but it's also a representation of being watched, being monitored here. So when we look at this overall, it feels like her soul, we have the Hermit, the Queen of Swords here. It feels like her soul is potentially in like a higher dimensional holding field or a resting place. And this queen, like, even if you guys look at some of the images, you guys look at some of the pictures, some of the videos, the newer Kate that we've seen over these last couple years are not the same. Like, look at the eyes, look at the emotions. It's flat. There's something very flat about it. And so I want to go back for a moment, and when we look at that 8 of Wands, I'm getting like a rapid extraction of potentially her consciousness, and it feels like this was done multiple times. So maybe there's not necessarily like 7 clones, but I do think that there are some clones of her or doubles, and they have worked at trying to get and alter her consciousness multiple times, you guys. And this is like a rapid extraction. So the moon on the back of the deck again is another massive symbolism of clone energy, hidden truths, illusions, deception. It's really showing that this is one of the strongest indicators, you guys. Look at all the major arcanas coming out. So this is showing again, we're not being told the entire truth, and there is something moving in the shadows when it comes to either an altered soul or an altered consciousness state, or some kind of a double for our lovely Princess Kate. Okay, so with that showing up there, let's dive into the question of, I want to know, Spirit, how is Kate's original soul, her blueprint? Like, how is the real Kate Middleton doing? Let's see what the cards have to say. What can you share with the original blueprint and original consciousness of Kate? How is she? Okay. Oops. 4 of Cups. Temperance. We've got 4 of Wands. Knight of Swords. The World. There's that World again. 5 of Wands. And we have the 7 of Wands, which came out in her past earlier. So I do feel like there's that Queen of Swords again. I feel like she is a fighter with this energy. And she's stood up for herself, and she became a threat at some point. So if we look at her coming out as the 4 of Cups, this is that disconnected energy. So this is really coming up as you know, her being kind of energetically checked out or emotionally checked out. And it shows that next to that Knight of Swords is some kind of rushed decision. Someone or something was like, there was some kind of rapid extraction again, and a truth chasing energy here. So this is often a bit of an energy of like when a soul exit, there's like a fast removal from contracts, from like breaking from an imposed identity here. So I feel like her soul did make a very fast or swift shift here. And possibly through like when, you know, she was going with, you know, according to the media, her going for her treatments and when her health issues were arising here. This is her making a really swift decision to cut ties and exit energetically here. So Four of Wands in the past, when we look at Princess Kate and her contracts and her souls here, it's showing like her being kind of her being that public figure, but also this represents those royal structures, and it's a celebration. This is her marrying into that monarchy, into that lineage. And it's interesting because at the outcome we have the World, and this is kind of that energy of her closing a chapter when it comes to fulfilling a karmic assignment. So it's quite interesting with the Temperance here, because if we look at the Temperance, this is my Archangel card. This is all about patience. It's all about harmony and balance. And it's that divine rebalancing, or it's like the time unfolding and transmutation of some really dense contracts that she signed up for here. And it's like her soul is overgoing like a sacred integration, and it could be kind of weaving in and out of higher aspects of, preparing to return into different timelines as well, is what I'm getting. So when we look at this, it feels like even though her current vessel may be, let's say, stabilized by some kind of a clone or a walk-in, it's being artificially maintained. And from what I can see, you guys, just a perspective, I mean, let me know what you guys think. I always love to hear your guys's, comments and feedback. But the World here is a representation of her completing her earthly role and her not returning into this physical body. Now, seeing the Five of Wands and the Seven of Wands aspecting that, though, really shows how much she did fight. And I mean, this is really her fighting for her sovereignty, and it's really showing her maintaining like boundaries in a war of agendas and astral interference here, because it doesn't look easy. It doesn't look clean. It looks like she had a battle on her hands, and it's really overlaid with a lot of other just inorganic energy and manipulation and MK Ultra and ritualistic things that have happened behind the scenes. So I think that she had to really defend her exit and not just like easily walk away here. But again, what I can say from what I'm getting from my perspective, you guys, and the energy of the tarot is like Kate's oversoul has exited, and we have got that World in her energy when we were looking at that, and then yet again her original blueprint. So I can say, like, it looks like the current Kate that we have now looks like a program placeholder or a clone, but it's really mainly there just for, the public continuity there. So let's look at then, what can you share, Spirit, with the energy of Kate being pulled out of the Royal Ascot races, or the event that recently happened? Let's look at that. What can you share, Spirit, about the true meaning or the true reason why this Kate did not make it to the event, the recent Royal Ascot event? Two of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, oh my goodness. Back of the deck is my clone card again. My goodness, that just keeps coming out every time. Or like placeholder card. Okay, so let's take a look. Why did she drop out of this event? Okay, so the big thing that I want to look at the moment, Four of Wands in the past, okay? This is showing that it is a ritualized tradition, and it's showing that this is like a ceremonial control. And if we look at this in terms of like people, the veils are thinning and people are waking up as well. When you look at the monarchy's connection to these, ceremonial controls or ceremonial events too, and we look at Princess Kate, if her original oversoul is gone, And this is some kind of a placeholder, you guys, just a tarot reading. If that is what is truly happening here, it's like her energetic field wouldn't actually be able to complete the circuit of this ritual, okay? And if that happens, there's going to be more backlash, there's going to be more people like seeing what's happening, and it's like it's showing that it's going to like unravel the public narrative, and their plan wouldn't be successful here. So it was too much, okay, instability. Okay, what I can say is her placeholder is too unstable in this moment that it's not. Usually, you guys, usually these, if it is a clone, they're not meant to really be sustainable for the long term, okay? And we're getting up there. It's been a while, and I feel like there's something about her placeholder that is too unstable, and it's not able to create like some kind of actual circuit in terms of it being successful for the elites, which is why that she was pulled out of it here. This is gonna sound like a crazy video to some people, so you guys, if this doesn't resonate, feel free to, you know, take what resonates, leave what does not. But you guys, again, as I said, with those veils are thinning, I feel like, again, more people are waking up, and the public, the collective as well, they, let's say these certain placements and walk-ins and clones, they need to really rely on belief and emotional investment in order to really anchor properly, and that's not happening. Two of Wands is planting those seeds, okay? There is another thing that I'm getting from this with that Ace of Pentacles. So I think another part of this too could also be a representation of conditioning the public for, you know, maybe this is even more of her, let's say, exiting and not attending even more events, and could be to push for a rise for somebody else to step in her place, because they could be testing the waters. I keep getting testing the waters with this Ace of Pentacles, right? And it feels like it's setting the stage for longer disappearances or some kind of official narrative pivot where she steps away from maybe even more of her royal duties here. So my goodness, let me know what you guys think. Quite the interesting cards that have come out for this reading. But let's end it then on the question, what does the rest of 2025 look like for this Kate? What can you share, Spirit? Are they, let's ask the question, are they preparing to remove her from the public scene even more for the rest of 2025? What can you share with us, Spirit? What does the rest of 2025 look like for this Kate? Temperance. We're getting so much of the similar energy, you guys. That's crazy. Okay, I should have said this because I'm like, I know that Tower's coming. Every time I pulled on the royal family, you guys, their structures are falling. Okay, so the rest of 2025, we have this Kate. Things are coming crumbling down because those placeholders are not, we've got like the exact same cards again. That's so crazy. Because those placeholders are not sustainable here. So let's take a look here. And I'm also going to take a moment and just see what imagery or messages are coming out of the crystal ball as well. So the one thing that I keep seeing consistently is just a bunch of crosses, you guys. And when I see this, I think that a lot of it is a representation of, it's like that resurrection, but it's being presented to the public as synthetic here. It's not looking like it's authentic. It's like a symbol of inversion here. And we could also look at it as the intersecting points, right? We can look at it as timeline splitting and the diversion here. But if we dig into the rest of 2025 and what's going on with Kate, there's definitely going to be some big stuff I feel like that comes out because they're not able to sustain anything. This foundation is so shaky, you guys, so incredibly shaky. And if we look at, we have the Temperance here with the Devil as the situation. And look at all the major arcanas. That's insane. Again, coming out quite significantly in this. But from what I can see, it's trying to maintain, it's like there's a sense of they're trying to maintain some kind of equilibrium when it comes to behind the scenes and the conflicting energies, because again, if this is reflecting this placeholder, it's like it's so unstable. They're just trying to buy time at this point, and this is coming. The crash is coming for I feel like the royal family in general, but with this specific situation. So the Ace of Wands in this present is more of like just trying to, they're trying to activate a new phase or a new narrative, where I wouldn't be surprised if they try to put somebody else in her place, in terms of like, this could be somebody younger as well. We have a Fool, which is a younger energy. I don't know, how old is her daughter, but like a female presence in to replace her. But there's something about a big moment happening, because we have, again, this card a representation of new beginnings. It's like a new rebirth, right? And when we look at that, it's also, it's could be in relations to, I'm getting like an artificially scripted like PR stunt here. So this is that spark. So the Ace of Wands is a spark before the fire. And then all of a sudden it's fully on fire, okay? That building is burning down. So this could represent, with the Devil as well in that situation, more bindings, more control, more false parasitic contracts and narratives that they're trying to push. And it represents the grips of the system. So I see the Tower, the outcome as the Tower, showing like, I'm wondering if there's some kind of a big scandal. Maybe they talk more about her health, or there's some kind of big situation that ensues, and it's really to like shatter the veil. And I would say spin it so they have this new, it's almost like a new life that is being replaced by her. Okay, so quite interesting. The Fool could also represent the public naively buying into these new narratives that are not true or authentic either. So it's almost like they're just blindly allowing this manipulative narrative to reset from what it looks like. So they're just going with it. So a lot of people aren't going to, I feel like, wake up to all the Kabbalistic energies underneath the royal family. I think that a whole lot needs to still surface and come out. But I will say, you guys, something is about to implode with that Tower. So let's pull a couple oracles before we wrap up. Let's see, Spirit, what would you like to share? What other final messages would you like to share? We have obsessive lover, but underneath it says dangerously toxic, unhealthy, possessiveness, and karmic. That goes with that Devil quite well. So let's keep going. Now let's see. Oh, impersonator. That can go with our placeholder and our clones. Let's get one more. We've got so much about karma. Oh, we got lots of cards falling out. We got so much about karma, you guys. So karmic friends. So it does truly feel like, there were a lot of people that did not have her back with this energy. Can't fully trust them. Tension, secret competition. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. All right, so there are 3 more that flew out with this Spill the Tea or What's the Tea deck, and we have Queen Rising, which actually absolutely matches that, because I feel like there is some kind of a narrative being pushed when it comes to almost like replacing her, or her making that announcement that she's stepping back, and there's someone else that kind of steps into her duties here. So we also have Haunted, but look what it says underneath it. It says memories, flashback, trauma, and side effects. So surprise, surprise, they're probably going to talk about her having certain side effects, or her really needing to step back and just focus on her and her health at that time, taking her more out of the picture. And we have fake flexing, which is, acting rich, money, show-offs, etc. So again, it feels like this whole narrative, you guys, is just a bunch of let's just say it's a big play and a big show here. So let's get some final cards, Spirit. We have the House. Oh, okay, we had one fly out, and it was the Stork. And we have the Clover. All right, let's take these 3 to end it. So the House, the Stork, the Clover. So the Clover could really represent kind of a something shiny, something like it's a narrative being portrayed, because we have the House and we have the Stork as well. And this could represent motherhood, like the narrative that she's going to be staying more at home, with the children. There's this energy of her healing beautifully. And there's this narrative that's being kind of like beautifully positioned, but there is a much deeper wound underneath it, because the Clover again feels like a very like temporary, or like a cover story. Okay, that's what I get here. So I get a big again, a big media distraction with the Clover, and this could even represent them replacing her with someone else new again, another placeholder, because the Stork is a rebirth also, right? So there's a lot here showing that they could be preparing the arrival of even a new identity, a new presence within. So quite interesting, you guys. You guys will have to let me know what you think. That was quite the cards that have come out. But as always, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me on another tarot episode. And if you guys are interested, you can reach me at readingswithbreanne.com. And until next time, beautiful souls, bye for now.